This is Mitch, and welcome to the 1000houses.com podcast. I'm here with Bryan Driscoll, and he's over there in Pittsburgh, PA. I think, is that what you said? Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, Pittsburgh, PA.
Yeah, so this guy specializes in helping you as a real estate investor find motivated sellers. And that's probably one of the biggest challenges of the day right now because markets are so hot. Is the market hot in Pittsburgh, PA?
Yeah, it's crazy here. I think it's everywhere across the U.S. is nuts.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. I'm pretty sure it was, but and so I thought, well, let's get down to the bottom of what kind of budget does it take? What do we need to do? And how are they helping investors find motivated sellers so they can keep rolling that inventory or adding to their buy and hold portfolio or whatever it is they're doing. And by the way, Bryan also buys and wholesales real estate, but uniquely enough, he only buys in one zip code. So he has about, 20 or so rentals, but he's cherry picking it in a place exactly where he wants to be, which I think is interesting. And then he's wholesaling all the stuff that he's not interested in or is not in that zip code. So as if that wasn't enough, he has this whole other company helping you find leads. So he doesn't have a whole lot of time to go out and build his own portfolio right now. He's helping a lot of people across the nation build their portfolio. So with no further ado, how you doing, Bryan?
Hey, doing well. Thanks for having me, Mitch.
Yeah, so give us a little background real quick. How did you get here?
Yeah, so I'm a digital marketer by trade. I've been doing digital marketing since like early 2000s. And then about 7-8 years ago, I got into real estate. I was actually probably a little before that. Like, you ever hear Ron LeGrand?
I'm interviewing him next on my 500th podcast.
Get out. Yeah, that's the first course right there.
I have it. I have that course. Him and Lou Brown and those guys were the ones that I tapped into,
Yeah. So I went to my dad took me to one of his seminars years ago. I didn't have any money. Back in the back of the room, they're selling his course. It's $1,800. Pull out the credit card, and I get involved with that. I start following his systems, and I failed miserably. So then maybe like 6 years after that, I started getting into real estate again, and I bought my first place. I got it for $30,000 up here in Pittsburgh. Put like $30,000 in it. It's worth like $120,000, and I rent it out now. So I bought that off of a wholesaler. I found it on Craigslist. So then I found another deal, and I started looking. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm paying these guys like $10,000, whatever their wholesale fee is. I have a strong digital marketing background. I started doing marketing for myself in Pittsburgh and started getting a lot of leads. And that's how like marketing and the real estate kind of coincided. Yeah, so that's basically it. And I dabble in real estate. I buy like 4 or 5 places a year. Mainly do digital marketing as my primary focus.
Wow. So I'm even learned something here too, because it seems like every time I get involved with digital marketing, it didn't work out for me. But I think either I get the wrong person or I don't know what I do wrong. But I know that it works because I know people that it works for. You know what I mean? I'm just not. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So how's that for pulling down my pants and showing my hiney? Okay, but that's the whole point of this whole thing is I'm trying to be transparent. This is one thing I struggle with is the digital marketing. So talk to us about digital marketing. Who is your perfect client?
Our perfect client, we deal with flippers and wholesalers.
Okay.
That's ideal. What did you do when you did the marketing? What did it fail?
It's been so long since I tried it. I can't even tell you, but I just know that one of the things I did was I got SEO'd up to the top 2 or 3 spaces, on the search for some pretty hefty keywords,
Right.
The problem was I would be going into a house and there was 5 people coming out. And when I was coming out, there was 5 people going in. And it seemed like the people that were calling buyers from that venue were calling everybody, everybody on the first page or so. Yeah. And it's like, I don't want to come, I don't want to pay all this money to go have a bidding war. I could have just do that down at the courthouse if I want,
Right. So, exactly. Yeah.
So, that may not be exactly the digital marketing you're talking about, but it's just, I don't know. I'm not so tech savvy. So sometimes I don't even know how to talk to you guys, or I don't know how to hear you guys.
Yeah, no, I hear you. You know what? It's funny you bring that up too, because we have the same problem. Like, especially with Google pay-per-click, because people are paying to be at the top. And all the people do want to sell their house. They open all 3 websites and fill out their forms.
Yeah.
What I've found that you could even try it yourself too. If you go on my website and you fill out a form, you get a text message immediately saying, hey, thanks for filling out a form. Here's a link to my calendar to book a time for us to come give you an offer. We found that weeds out a lot of the competition. Like say even at 2 o'clock in the morning, someone fills out on my website. Right when they're done, they get that text, which breaks that pattern of them going to the other websites, and they book an appointment for us to come out and see it too. So it gauges their motivation as well.
And it might take them off the market, right? Like they're not going to the other 2 right now. I just made an appointment.
Right. Yeah. Because they feel like, oh, I just accomplished what I needed to. Now I got someone coming out to see it. I don't need to fill out all these other websites. So there's a tip for you there. You may want to try that on your stuff. That increased we have about 40% people book those appointments right off the bat. And it cuts down on that competition, because that competition's, especially right now, like you have 5-6 people going out there. It's nuts, and then it's just crazy town.
Yeah. So when you're helping people find these motivated leads, I mean, imagine you're going to the sources that we know, that you're scraping lists in certain areas or zip codes, right? Or counties.
Well,
and then is that?
Yeah. Well, actually, we don't even do the scraping. We run Facebook ads or Google pay-per-click.
Okay.
So say, for example, we'll put ads in Facebook that say sell your house fast, cash home buyers. And then it tries to get the people that are looking to sell, that are motivated, versus just selling on the MLS.
Yeah. And so what kind of budget does a person need to be effective in that? Because I know you can't just spend, you can't just, it's kind of like radio advertising. I'm pretty sure you have to get in it for a long haul, or else you're not going to see the results. But I wanted to hear what your opinion was on that.
Yeah, you do. So it depends on the market. Say in Pittsburgh, you can get away with an ad spend of maybe $1,500 a month. Down where you're at, it's probably closer to 3,000. So it's more competitive. So each city is going to be different, but I'd say between 1,500 to 3,000 a month's a good budget. And I'd normally you got to let it at least run for 3 months too, just because like someone may see your ad, then we retarget them. It takes a little while sometimes to get those deals closed,
Yeah. So when I was asking, like, who's your perfect clientele, I figured you were selling to wholesalers and flippers, but I was expecting to say, and someone who can afford, or who's far enough down the road, or has the gumption or the nerve to, like, spend some kind of amount of money per month. Because I found if you stick with anything long enough, you'll at least break even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the breaking even is not the point. But I've always been able to pretty much break even, like even when I did my SEO and got ranked high, we just noticed we kept going out and there was all this competition. So when we hit a couple of hits and bought a couple, worked hard to buy a couple, then we decided we were going to just shift those resources a different direction to some place where there wasn't so much competition, so.
Right. Yeah.
How long do you think, well, at $1,500 a month, how many exposures is that?
Yeah, so it depends. That's where it comes down to the area and the competition. So say in Pittsburgh, I know I can generate a lead for about $75 is what it averages out to. Across the US, I see the average is like $75 to $125. And by a lead, I'm talking about someone that reached out, told us why they want to sell, how fast they want to sell, how much work their property need, all that kind of things, and wants to sell their property. So say down where you're at, it might cost $150 to get a lead though. So I'm going to get double the leads in Pittsburgh than you're going to get off of the same dollar just because of the competition. Does that make sense?
Yes, I understand. So they kind of charge by how many people are demanding those keywords in the areas, right?
Yeah, well, on Google pay-per-click, yeah, you're paying per click. And then on Facebook, you're just paying per impression, like how many times your ad shows. It just comes down to how many other people are showing ads, because it's a bidding war. So say they got 100 people in Pittsburgh that want to show ads to Pittsburgh for an even number. You might have 1,000 people down there bidding, which drives the cost up.
Yeah. So did Facebook change their algorithms on what did they say? Pixelized
yeah.
ads?
Yeah. So what happened? They changed a couple things. About a year ago, they changed, due to discrimination and everything, they changed that we can't target people based on age, sex. They pulled back a lot of the targeting options we have on Facebook. And now recently with the iOS 14 update with Apple, they're holding back even more data now due to privacy. So it's getting harder and harder to target online just because of all the privacy and the trouble that these social companies are getting into.
Yeah. So what I always say is find something, stick with it, and make it work, until you just exhaust it or till you just find a better way, So how many people can you handle at a time, or you have a limited amount of people you can deal with?
No, I mean, we have a pretty good team. We have about 150 clients now. So
Okay.
yeah, we can handle a decent amount of people. Main thing is we're looking for clients that are seasoned, that know how to close deals, because sometimes guys just getting into the business, we can get them leads, they don't know what to do with them, or they don't call back quick enough. Like you on an online lead, you got to call them within minutes of it coming in.
Yeah, it's all about speed.
Yeah.
The saying in the business, you can't steal houses in slow motion. You got to lightning fast, faster the better.
Exactly.
Yep. So if you're when you handle that many clients, I'm going to guess that you kind of know what kind of ads are work. I mean, you've run a lot of tests. You do a lot of A/B testing, and everything. You know what it takes to get the results from an ad, right?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I do a ton of tests. I probably spend like 15 grand a month just testing ads, just on ourselves. Just I need to know what works. And it's weird. Like we had ads back in I don't know, like March, like during the elections and all that kind of stuff. That had the White House in the background, and they look kind of political. Those ads crushed it then. They don't do anything now. So ads are constantly changing. You got to constantly be keeping up on them.
So it's a constant morph, huh?
Yeah.
I went through a time, early in my career, I bought everything from bandit signs. I bought a lot of houses from bandit signs, and then they got to where they didn't work at all. As a matter of fact, they were starting to cause problems. People were turning you in, and the sign police were everywhere. And so then it went away for a year or two, and then I had this new kid in the office, and he didn't have much of a budget, so he said he was going to go put out signs. So I didn't argue with him, and man, he started crushing it with these signs again. So these things, they go in and out. They have a lifespan, and then they disappear, and then sometimes they come back. So
yeah.
So
and they all work, like you were saying too. Like everything works and nothing works. Do something consistently, it's going to work for you.
Yeah, well, somebody says, well, I tried bandit signs, it didn't work. I said, how many did you put out? They said 10. I said, well, shit, go out and put out 600 and call me back,
Right, yeah.
10, what's 10? Geez, that's like telling me you went swimming and you like put your hand in the water.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, come on.
We get the same on Facebook and stuff too. We're like, yeah, Facebook didn't work. And how much you spend? You spent $100. Like, didn't give it a fair test,
Yeah, you got to put it out there. Does everyone have to create their own ad, or do you suggest what works and just move it to that?
Yeah, I have a pretty good feel. We make everyone's ads for them. I mean, if people have ads or have testimonial videos, stuff like that, we can run those also. But I have a really good feel on just because of all our testing, what works, what doesn't. So that's one of the benefits there. You get to bypass that learning process.
So are your areas exclusive, or, I mean, with 1,500 people, it seems like you might be running campaigns for, are you running multiple campaigns in one county?
Yeah. So so we offer SEO, Facebook, and Google pay-per-click. SEO is exclusive just because there's only one number one position there. Yeah. Facebook, we limit it to like 2 or 3 because we're not in direct competition,
Okay. So what's your advice to the veterans out there about your experience in social media marketing?
Yeah, so if you're doing it on your own, number one, I would make sure you have the pixel event set up properly on your website. It's one of the basic things, but I see a lot of people come there. They have a pixel on their website, but they don't have that event code on their thank you page that lets Facebook know what type of people converted. And then also, don't get fancy. Like, keep your messaging simple and direct. I see a lot of people they'll get a lot of leads that are garbage, doing like home valuations or how much is your home worth, like fluff stuff like that. I found it better be really direct. Like, we buy houses, we're cash home buyers. Sell your house fast. Use that type of messaging so that whenever someone actually comes through, they're the right type of person that wants to sell your house too, not just someone that's like, oh yeah, well, everything's for sale for the right price or stuff like that.
Yeah, motivated sellers.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then what's your advice to like the new guy just starting out?
New guy starting out, hustle, go out there and work hard. I mean, on Facebook. So if Facebook takes money, I'd probably, if I was just starting out, I'd get involved with the groups, get involved with like the local Facebook groups, post in there, because that doesn't cost anything. So you can post in the groups, hey, you're looking to sell a house. Because I know a lot of guys that get deals off of those places, and that doesn't cost anything at all. It's just, you're just spending time instead of money.
Yeah. So as a new guy, I kind of think, my opinion is, you know, you got to hustle. Like you said, you got to get out there and hustle. You got to make something happen because you don't have a budget, whether that's putting up as many bandit signs as you can possibly put up around town, and then at night posting in the Facebook groups or wherever you can think to post. And then hopefully you make a strike and you make 15, 20, 25,000 bucks. And then you say, okay, I'm going to budget now $6,000 of the next 2 months with $3,000 a month from my area, you know, or 4 months at $1,500 a month. You know, take some of the house money and put it back in to your business, you know, so you're not having to earn every single lead by the stress on your own backbone. You know what I mean? Like, delegate some of it out to Bryan and let them help you bring some leads, you know?
Yeah, 100%. That's what I see too. And then also be like, when you're starting, be conservative too with your marketing budget. Find out what works for you. Cause I see a lot of guys will they'll just see a shiny object. They're like, oh yeah, let me stick a whole bunch of money there, and then it flops. If you get a deal 20 grand, conservatively budget it out and start slow, and then scale it up too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate you being on the call today. I want everyone to go to 1000houses.com, and I got to pull up a keyword. So I'm just going to put Driscoll, 1000houses.com, Driscoll, Driscoll. And over there is going to be a whole bunch of information in the show notes. You'll be able to get in contact with Bryan. You'll be able to, you know, it's evergreen, Bryan. So if you ever have anything over there you want to give away, or website you want to mention, or anything you want, you can always call up my people and you can put it in over there.
Okay, cool.
And, you know, if you have some testimonials or something from people, put them over there, whatever you want to do. And so that's where you go, 1000houses.com/Driscoll, Driscoll. And if you're interested in this kind of marketing, there'll be contact information over there. And Bryan will talk to you about your area, about, you know, your budget, and you guys can come up with a plan and start trying certain things, and hopefully you latch on to something that works. I feel a lot better trying this with someone who's been down the road and does it every single day than I would by myself, for sure.
I hear you.
You wouldn't, you know, some people go, well, I can do that. Yeah, you can do a lot of things, but you can't do everything. So like at some point you have to delegate something out. So delegate it out, you know?
Right.
Anything you want to say to the listeners before maybe we wrap it up?
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah, if you're just getting started, just go out there and hustle. And if you're crushing it, keep doing more.
Yeah. And don't forget to roll some of that money you make back into your business. You can't rob the business of every penny every time you make some money. You got to put some money back in the business. You know, the business got to eat too. You know, right. Don't think it doesn't. So, all right, my friends, this is Mitch Stephen with 1000houses.com. I appreciate everyone out here taking time to get you some Bryan Driscoll. Again, go to 1000houses.com/Driscoll, Driscoll. Get over there to the show notes and get yourself a consult with Bryan or someone at his company and find out how you can start generating some leads in the background while you're sleeping. Just remember what he said. It's all about speed. When the lead comes in, you have to get right back. It's about speed. All right. I'd also like to thank livecom.com, LIVECOMM.com. There's smartphone numbers over there, and they capture the incoming caller's cell phone number. I can show you how I'm using Livecom to not have to put out any signs for my houses for sale, and how I'm selling my houses in 4 days on market, and how that's driven my owner finance down payments from 10% to 15%, because there's a lot more competition for my houses now. All you have to do is watch the video on the homepage. Also know that livecom.com can help almost any business, because you're able to text these businesses 2 cents per recipient, or 2 cents a minute recordings. There's a lot of ways to use this thing for all kinds of businesses. And I'm out there trying to help the world realize how powerful LiveCom can be. So check it out, LiveCom, LiveComm.com. All right, we're out of here. Bye, Bryan.
Hey, thanks for having me, Mitch. Talk soon.